Hello everybody, I am Cheri Bant and I am back again to check in on how things are going eating a whole food plant-based diet. I'm, let's see, I'm in week 5 of doing whole food plant-based no oil. So day 38. I usually record these on Friday. Today's actually Saturday, so I'm a day late. Partly because I had to go to the dentist yesterday, guys. I hate the dentist. Probably worse than I hate. Like, if you watch my first video and I talk about doctors and how medicine and all of that, oh, the dentist. But that originally, if you're just popping in and you're watching this video for the first time, you haven't followed along the journey, I was having jaw pain. That was part of the maybe she's having a heart attack thing. Come to find out it's a tooth or multiple teeth and TMJ. But I had those 2 teeth that were actually, it's a tooth that I had a root canal on had to be filled yesterday, and then the tooth in front of that, and they're my back 2 molars, and then another tooth on the other side. So they numbed me completely, like my tongue and my whole bottom jaw that was numb. And today I'm still kind of suffering from it, and I'm not sure because the one was a deep, I don't even know why I'm going into telling, but one of them was a deep filling, and it's real close to the nerve, and who knows, I might end up, because I'm still kind of, as I sit here, still having some pain, so ibuprofen is my friend. But anyway, so I'm back. I can talk today, so I'm doing the video, and I want to fill you in on how things have gone for week 5 with the diet. So I'm actually 7 weeks since I was in the hospital. When I was in the hospital, I weighed 231. So I have some news. As of this morning, I'm at 206. So that's 25 pounds that I've lost. And I've been walking a ton, so I think obviously that's contributed to it, but the diet is what's giving me the energy to be able to do the walking, and yeah, it's pretty much insane. The last week, I have these little stones that I've been collecting every time I go to the beach, because if you're not familiar with where I live in West Michigan, and we live in an association that's on the Lake Michigan. So we're in the woods here, but just down the road is an association beach. So I get the luxury of being able to walk in the woods, walk down to the water. And every day that I've walked, there's a 3-mile trek that I'm doing, like all in one sitting now. Or I shouldn't say one sitting, but one continuous walk. And whenever I do that, I collect a little stone from the lake. So I've done it 4 times, but I actually have 3 stones because I got the idea after the second time. But so I'm going to see how many of those I can collect. I even did my 3-mile walk this morning, even with not feeling super great with my mouth, but it didn't stop me because my legs are moving, and it helped with the pain. I think I was able to relax a little bit more. I don't know if it's the blood flow or whatever, but it's crazy, guys. I think I'm averaging like 6 miles a day in walking, because I'm doing like the 3-mile walk if I can fit it in, and then later in the evening I'm walking with the kids or doing just a smaller walk, but that's really working in terms of keeping me moving, and I'm just enjoying it, which is crazy. There's one hill here, and I tried to take a picture of it, but I don't know if I mentioned it in a previous video, but it's like the one that kicks my butt. It's like straight up, and I still kind of avoid that sometimes and do the 3-mile without doing that part, because I'm still a little bit like, oh, do I want to just walk straight up a hill? But I'm just doing great. So if you've been following along, I had my doctor's appointment last week, so it was my follow-up, and I had a complete physical done, and originally I was having issue, like when I went on the diet, I'll just kind of fill you in. I had to have like a health risk assessment done for my husband's insurance, and all of my cholesterol levels were good except for my triglycerides were like 393 after going on the diet. And I had some tips and suggestions from some of you, and I followed those. I had the fasting done a week later. The first one was not a fasting, it was like a quick test. So I'm kind of recapping here. That was down to 208. Well, the doctor said he's not concerned at all. And what exactly is happening, see, when I was in the hospital 7 weeks ago, my triglycerides were fine. My cholesterol was elevated. Now my cholesterol is perfect, or real close to perfect. It's a little, I want to get it 150 or less, and I think it was like 153, I think, or something like that. So great. That was my total cholesterol. So really good. And that'll come down probably even more with the diet. But he said what's happening And it's, as I kind of dug in and was suspecting, it's all the fat that was in my cells that was causing the insulin resistance, because that's exactly what causes insulin resistance, is not carbohydrates, but fat in your body. It fills your cells, if you're prone to this, and causes diabetes for those that have type 2 or whatever. Even, I think, contributes to Alzheimer's, so from what I'm learning. So anyways, by me going on this diet, getting the fat out of my diet, and I am not using any extra oils. I've had several people send me recipes, and thank you. I love you all. It's been really good for me. But I can't do, or I shouldn't say I could, but I'm choosing not to do any oil because of the insulin resistance, to try to get the fat out. So that means no olive oil, no canola oil, no vegetable oil, no any oil, no vegan butter, no any of that stuff. And I'm cooking in that method. And it's because I want to try to, I don't want to reintroduce fat into my body. I want my body to heal, get the fats out. But that's why the triglycerides are high. He said that that will certainly correct itself, just a matter of time, especially since I'm exercising too. That helps to burn them, drinking a lot of water, all of those things. So, yeah, so I'm feeling fantastic aside from the whole tooth scenario. I'm just floored still. I can't believe that I can go walk and do the things I'm doing and keep moving and not hit a wall. It's just crazy to me. Some of the things that I didn't talk about last week, and I have them, I have notes, that I wanted to talk about that I've really noticed are, I used to get headaches a lot. Like, it was common for me to almost daily have a headache. Didn't mean I always took something for it. But I know when I was younger, I was prone to migraines. Headaches were something that I just dealt with. A lot of times I would pop some pills if it got bad in the afternoon or whatever. I haven't had one headache probably since week 3. So I did have some initially, and I definitely, if you're at all considering wanting to do this, and everybody's body's different, and it depends how you're eating now and how it's going to affect you. But those first 2 weeks were a little rough for me. But I wasn't feeling great anyways, so it's not like I felt worse. I just didn't feel good. And I definitely had some headaches. I think it was probably detox with, cutting out the dairy, cutting out all the refined carbohydrates, all of that stuff. But then I started taking the B12. That seemed to help, but I think that was about the same time. But anyways, no headaches. I haven't had any. So that's kind of a big deal. The other thing, I don't think I mentioned this in the last one, and for any of you out there who suffer from a lot of aches and pains, like I would wake up in the morning and I always had, like, my right hip would bother me. Like, I would have Darren, we have a couple pads on the bed because it was just excruciating. Yeah, I'm a side sleeper. I'd wake up and it was hard for me to move, really stiff. The other thing is my knees. I used to be, back in the day when I was young and a kid, I used to be a skateboarder and I didn't always wear my knee pads, so I was falling on my knees all the time. And I had chalked it up, to be honest with you. I thought, well, I'd love to exercise, but my knees are shot, so I'm probably not going to be able to do that. The other thing I would have is I had a lot of neck and shoulder pain. All of it's gone. I don't have any of it. When I first started walking, initially, my knees were kind of bothering me, but that was still within that first few weeks of the diet. Now it's gone, and I know what it is. It was all inflammation. So that inflammation is gone, and so goes the pain. So if you're someone suffering, you might want to look at this, because there were times where I would get up and it would take a few, because it's one thing to wake up stiff. I don't even have that now. But before, I would be, Darren's quite a bit older than me. A lot older than me, like 13 years older than I am. So we always make jokes, and he'd say, well, I'm kind of sore for a little bit, and then it goes away. And for me, it'd be like noon, 1 o'clock before my pain would go away. So I just kind of learned to live with it. And I know there's a lot of people out there that suffer along, you've been suffering with pain. And I'm not saying that this is, like you're going to be able to get off all your meds. I'm not trying to be a proponent of that. I mean, I think it can happen, honestly. Just really consider it, because if you're suffering daily, I think especially dairy, if you can get it out of your diet, I think that you're going to find. But if you can do this whole food, plant-based, no oil diet, you're going to see big changes in how you feel. I can almost guarantee it, because I know how I felt before. Okay, so that's those things. The other thing is, guys, I would avoid onions at all costs. So, especially dried onions. because my gut would hurt. Like I would get horrible pains in my gut if I had onions. That is completely gone. I have onions in almost everything we're eating, like when I'm sauteing and doing stuff with no oil. Usually I use vegetable stock. But anyways, the onions. So that's kind of a, you know, my gut is healing, I think, or it had something to do with the protein and the onion combination, but that I'm not having any issue with that. The other thing I want to mention that I don't think I've seen where some people talk about it that are doing whole food plant-based or they're vegan, pooping is something that's definitely happening and no issues. So I don't think I want to go too much into that, but if you have any problems with constipation, this diet is for you because you will think the fiber that you'll be taking in are going to keep things moving out. So, so there's that. So I thought I would share for anybody who's interested. The other thing I have to share is I bought a pair of tight pants. Yeah, you're probably like, what the heck, Cheri? Look it up on YouTube. I don't even know what the name of the video is. The kids used to watch this thing, and there was a lady who was in tight pants, like stretch pants, and she would sing this song. So you got to go search that out because it's hilarious. Maybe I'll find it and put it in the comments below so you guys can all have a good laugh. But exercise pants. I've had looking at my closet. I have a few pair of stretch pants up there and some old LuLaRoe. Maybe something else. Nothing to like really kind of hold you in or nothing for working out. But I bought my first pair of like workout pants. And I don't think I'm going to buy, like, they get gross. I have to wash them frequently because I'm walking a lot. But I just think it's funny because I didn't buy that kind of stuff before. And so now I think I might wait to see how much more weight I'm going to lose before I'm buying a bunch more of it. But if you have any tips for really comfy, athletic, like pants or whatever, you got to share it with me because I'm gonna buy more athletic wear, so because I'm working out. So anyway, so there's that. Okay, so couple things. Let's see what else do I want to share. Okay. Oh, I have some big news. I'm going to tell you here in just a second. But I just want to share just a real quick story about a neighbor. And if he ever watches this, then he'll know I'm talking about him. But I was walking the other day, and I'm going to try to do this quick because I'm already 12 minutes in. But I was walking the other day, and he stopped me, and he said, "You trying to lose weight?" And I said, "Nah, you know, I'm losing weight, but I'm trying to get my body kind of healed from being diabetic and just not feeling well and doing some things. And I'm walking as part of it. I'm doing some diet stuff." And he said, diabetes. And I said, yeah, I'm pre-diabetic, but I've had issues with diabetes with the kids and the pregnancy. And there were times when I was, on insulin and he's like, "Oh, I'm on insulin. Yeah. Sugar. It's like sugar, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's like sugar. Yeah. Refer to sugar." But, we were talking and he admitted that he drinks Mountain Dew, which is, not good. But he said something about his feet. He said, "Well, the doctor tells me I'm doing a good job." And I didn't ask him what his A1C is or anything like that. And, but he said, "Everybody keeps telling me you got to get," he drives around a cart. And I said, "Yeah, it's if you can walk." And it's good for you. If you can walk, certainly if you're diabetic for sure. And he said, "Well, I can't." I said, "My feet hurt so bad. My feet hurt so bad." And I just kind of looked at him and he says to me, what do you think that is? And I said, "You know what? It's neuropathy. You're, with the diabetes, your nerves they're probably dying. It's not good. That's not a good thing. You need to maybe talk to your doctor about that. That's not good." And the reason that I bring this up is something that's really kind of, couple things that have really kind of hit me is, and I know that one of the doctors that's in the Forks Over Knives, Esselton, I think he might have even had a quote about this, but we talk about extremes and someone might say, "Cheri, you're doing this and it's so extreme," because it's not mainstream, right? It's different. It's not what everybody else is doing. I can't pull up at Mickey D's and get the vegan whatever that's healthy for me, right? So you're with family and friends, and now you're going to be the oddball because you're not eating what everybody else is eating. And food is so tied into culture and our environment and how socially and all of that stuff. But let's talk about extremes for just a minute because it's so true. I look at family members that I've had that are gone. Either lots of cancer in my family. We even have people that are fighting the cancer battle right now. And some of the things just from the stuff I read, and cancer, we all, like, I was one of these people, like, genetically, there's breast cancer in my family, and ovarian cancer, and whatever, and colon cancer, rectal cancer. So I don't have good genes, right? But this is the thing, guys. Only 2 to 3% of cancers that are out there are genetic, like, that have anything to do. The rest of it, the rectal, the colon, the breast, a lot of those cancers, and nobody wants to get it because it's such an ugly, awful, I'm going to say it's a fucking awful disease for people to have to suffer through. And a lot of it's lifestyle, and a lot of it is, it's what we're eating. It's what we're putting in our bodies. And there's other things too. Obviously, there's, chemicals and all the things. But I think a lot of times we just buy into the fact that we can't prevent it. And I don't know that that's completely true. And I'm not saying this to tell you that, you need to do this to prevent getting cancer or whatever. I just know that God has a plan for me, and if I would end up getting it, there's that. But I think a lot of times we buy into the fact that we don't have control over what happens to us, and I think we have more than we think. And something that I was listening to a podcast when I was walking today that kind of hit me really kind of hard was a lady mentioned, and it was on a Plant Strong, I think, if you want to look up podcasts, and I can't remember which one it was, but like what the title of it was. But one of the lady that was in the podcast said she'd went to this retreat, and they talked about cells, like how many cells you have in your body, right? And how, and I'm bringing this back to a Christian perspective. I don't know if she was looking at it that way, but that they're doing their best to give us life, right? God gives us life, and then our cells are working. Mine are working right now. Yours are working right now. And they're doing all they can to make our bodies run. And how you take care of them certainly is going to in turn then, give you like how you feel. And that's not always the case. Some people are born with disease. Some people, there's sin in the world, all of that. But I think it just kind of hit home to me that the choice of what we put in our mouth has such a big bearing on like our body and how it functions, and it's just trying to do its best job, and how we treat it is gonna make a difference in how we feel. And if we can treat our bodies well, body is a temple, right? It's gonna help us to be able to function and manage and do and be and not hurt as much and all of the things, and be there for the people that we love. Obviously not forever, but for when we're here. So I know I'm 17 minutes. This is a long one. And I just wanted to say that because it kind of hit me like, it makes a difference. And eating because it makes you feel good. And I am enjoying my food just as much as before, but I'm not a slave to it anymore. I'm not emotionally, I was an emotional eater. I was, all of that. It's gone for me. And I know if you suffer from that, if you're someone who suffers from that, it's not that you can't, it's that what you're putting into your body keeps perpetuating it. So if you can get the right fuel in, it doesn't have that control over you anymore. So I'm just so blessed. I feel so enormously blessed for finding this because I feel so much better. And I just want to share that with you because if there's anybody out there who can benefit from it, please look into it. Watch the Forks Over Knives documentary if you haven't. I know and I'm not getting anything from like doing that. If you're a reader, get the China study, or if you have, if you're diabetic, pre-diabetic, all of those things, you can get the Mastering Diabetes book. They're a little bit different on their diets, but similar. It's whole food, plant-based, no oil. Look it up. There's lots of stuff out there. You can be vegan and eat poorly. This diet is you're trying to eat a whole food, not something that's been chopped up, processed. You're eating, whole vegetables, whole fruits, all of that. So anyways, here's my big news. I'm so excited. So, Forks Over Knives has a cooking class, and I signed up for it. And it's you end up being a certified plant-based home chef. You actually get like credits from the American Culinary Association or whatever, and I have to do it in 90 days to be considered certified. So I'm going to be starting that, and it's like school, and you do it from home. But so I'll be sharing how that goes. I'm excited about doing that. It's how to really cook in this method. So with, you know, no oil, which is not easy. It's not hard, but for me, it's all getting used to. I mean, I was always before putting the olive oil in when you'd saute or do that kind of thing, and I'm not doing that anymore. So it's a new thing, and so learning these skills and having this knowledge, I think, will help me get that foundation for long-term success doing this. So anyways, that's where I am at in week number 5. So down 25 pounds from when I was at the hospital. This is the first time I've ever lost this much weight, and the longest I've ever stuck to any kind of like activity or, you know, exercise at all since I've been probably, you know, a teenager. So if you have any questions about any of this, if there's any way I can help you, if you have tips for me, if you are doing any of this stuff and you have, I don't know if you can see, oh, there was a squirrel back there. I thought there was. Maybe it's just the wind blowing. I would love to hear whatever tips you have. But anyways, I will be back next week, and I'll let you know how it's going. Good, bad, and the ugly. Thanks for watching, and you have a very blessed week. We'll see you later.